Dana Black. I am in the studio. You know what studio it is. Indiana's own Dana Black. Turn left. We're right here, Black Pearl Studios. Y'all have to forgive me. My brain is not all the way here. I'm still in South Florida. I'm still on South Beach. I'm still in Fort Lauderdale. I'm still in West Palm and Palm Beach. I mean, your girl took a vacation because it was all about, kicking it and just getting a little bit of vacation. It's been a long several months for a lot of us. But I tell you what, I'm back. I'm refreshed. I've gotten a little sun. My last name is truly reflective of who I am at this particular moment. I'm super black, got chocolatey black while I was down there, and I'm loving every minute of it. Hey, there's so many things that are happening. You guys know in another day or two is Pride Month. There'll be plenty of prides going on. Please, if you have some time Saturday, go down to Spencer County where they do things the right way and visit with the Spencer Pride. They got booze, they have fun, it's free. Drive, it's just down the road or up the road or over there, whichever way you coming from. Visit Spencer Pride. And of course, next week is Indy Pride. Find the Indiana Stonewall booth. We will be there. We have space. Looking forward to meeting candidates who want to come and plop down. If you don't have a booth as a candidate, especially if you're running in Marion County and you want to come and bring some of your literature, but if you're anywhere in the state and you want to bring some literature over to the Indiana Stonewall booth, feel free to do that. I will make sure that I email out, make sure I Facebook tweet out what our booth number is so that you guys can come find us and come hang out with us, because the LGBTQ plus community is always looking for a candidate to support. That's just who we are. We love our Democrats. All right, you know me? I got a rant. So the Supreme Court this week ruled on one of Indiana's anti-choice bills. And this particular bill, this particular law that was signed into law by Mike Pence, requires the patient to bury the fetus. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm not even going to try to suggest that I feel one way or another about it. I feel like if that's something that you choose to do, you should be able to have the option. But if you're traumatized and you are a victim of rape or incest, I'm not exactly sure why you have to do that when you're already traumatized, right? That being said, please understand that Supreme Court ruling is more about systematically chipping away, one state at a time, Roe v. Wade. And what the Supreme Court is doing right now is basically saying we are going to leave and let states regulate how women's pro-choice issues are handled. The idea that anybody really wants an abortion is crazy. But if for some reason you feel like you need to have one, you need to be able to have a safe and healthy one, and you don't need any extra trauma. But again, this is a whole bunch of men trying to tell women what to do with their bodies. I'm a lesbian. I've never even been pregnant, but I stand up for every female who has ever decided to make whatever decision they need to make with their body. I'm different anyway. Everybody know I'm out there. I've got a bow tie. You know what I'm saying? I'm a chick that wears ties. So my point is, y'all pay attention, because elections, as I always say, have consequences. Please understand, everything that is happening has been a plan. They knew that when they were taking over those state houses, when we lost 1,000 state houses and governorships, seats all over the country, they knew what they were doing. Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi, Indiana, Georgia. It's a plan, y'all. And if you're not paying attention, you don't even know what else might happen. There might be something else that just jumps off because that's what they own. So please, people, start paying attention. There is one other thing that I wanna wrap up. I think that, okay, so I'm gonna be a little critical of my party. And y'all know I'm a party girl. Y'all know I'm a Democrat. Y'all know how much I love who we are as Democrats and what we stand for. However, the Mueller report And you know, I don't even spend a lot of time up there at the federal level. Y'all know I don't. Y'all know I don't sit around and talk about Russia, and I don't talk about, I mean, Trump, he's orange, you know, whatever. But the Mueller report has been out, and I've read quite a bit of it. I ain't read all 400 pages, I ain't gonna tell you that. But I've read enough of it to know that they did a thorough investigation. So much so, it was 400 pages long. Now, apparently, America has forgotten how to read. I'm going to equate that to the systematic dismantling of public education. And the idea that they don't want us to know how to read. And so when 400-page reports come out, we're not reading it. Because basically what Bob Mueller said yesterday in 8 minutes was, read the damn report. Read the report. I painstakingly for 2 years compiled all this information. I don't want to keep talking about this. Read the report. Do your homework. Search the information for yourself. And I recognize that there are some Democrats who have actually read the entire report. Now listen, we already know Republicans are complicit. If you want to know who the poster child is for the silliness of what the Republican Party is and what they stand for, listen to Lindsey Graham. Because he's a flip-flopping fool since his boyfriend John McCain died. I'm just saying. The other part is Mitch McConnell is complicit. You saw him yesterday talk about, well, if somebody leaves the Supreme Court in an election year, what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to fill it. But see, 2 years ago, oh, no, we can't fill it. You know, oh, my God, he's in the last year of his presidency. We cannot fill it. The hypocrisy is real. Okay? The hypocrisy is real, and elections have consequences. See, if Hillary had won that election, they would have had to put somebody on the Supreme Court. They would have had to put somebody on the Supreme Court, and that ruling that we see on the Indiana law might be slightly different. But moving forward, I agree with a lot of what our DNC leadership believes should and shouldn't happen. However, what I have a problem with is that we are not following the Constitution because of political expediency. I have a problem that we will allow someone who Robert Mueller said, if I could have cleared him of criminal activity, I would have done so. Which means, yo, he probably did something really messed up, y'all. Democrats, your job is to uphold the Constitution. And I know we want to hold on to the House. I know we want to hold on to one particular branch of government. But what if you decide to have public and open hearings about all of this, and we end up gaining the White House? So now we got two branches. We'll have two branches. But I have a problem with the idea that we are going to allow someone to get away with the level of just criminality because we want to hold on to the House. That's not your job. See, we sometimes we get this mixed up, right? If you are doing things the way you're supposed to be doing and you are educating the public on what's really going on in our country, then they're going to vote for you. I mean, heck, even one lone Republican is out there saying, hey, let's impeach. And I know that the Senate isn't going to do anything, but check this out. Think about this. Say you have these public and open hearings, and all this evidence comes out, and it's overwhelming, and there is a public outcry for a conviction. How many of those senators do you think are going to say, oh, no, I'm not going to vote on this? They want their jobs too. I'm a little miffed that at this particular moment, it appears that my Democrats from the national level are not willing to hold this man accountable. Now, I know Nancy is systematically trying to do things, and we're going through these hearings, and I get that, and it's hard for me to question, Nancy Pelosi, because she knows what she's doing. She's been doing this longer than I've been alive. I get it. But yo, if you telling me that you're not going to hold this man accountable for the crimes he may have committed because we think we might lose the House, then we're not living up to what the founding fathers and the writers of the Constitution were trying to do. Now let me I'm gonna break it down to you like this too, because I know this, and I know for a lot of people, y'all say it ain't about race. I get that. Yeah, I know y'all gonna say that, but as black people, everything we think about, even though you're not, everything we think about is about race, because we come into a world knowing that we already 10 steps behind. We got to work twice as hard. We got to be twice as good and work twice as hard to get half as much. We know who we are. And we're looking at this going, but they shot Tamir Rice in 2 seconds. The police shot Tamir Rice in 2 seconds. He didn't even commit a crime. And we have evidence in front of us that this particular individual has committed crime after crime, and we're not willing to hold him accountable. So as a woman of color, I'm looking at this going, where is the justice? Where is the justice? If Barack Obama had acted like he was going to have a conversation with Putin, y'all have lost your mind. Oh my God, the black man that lost his mind. And Michelle's in on it too. They would have found a way. Listen, nobody is above the law. I know as a person of color, not only am I not above the law might actually stand on my head if I'm in the wrong place in the wrong time. This man is supposed to be the leader of the free world. And they're allowing him to get away with this. Fundamentally, I have an issue with that. And as much as I love my Democratic Party, I think it's important that those of us who are working hard and diligent to get Democrats elected, that we actually voice that opinion. I know some folks ain't gonna like it. Oh well. But here's the deal. The evidence is there. The roadmap is there. The GPS is there. We have everything we need to move forward and hold this individual accountable. You already know he's a snake. You already know he's a criminal. You already know his family is doing nefarious things. Put it out there so people can see it. Because, some people, unless you hit them on top of the head, because you can't fix stupid. Some people are still saying, he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, whatever, dog. You can't fix stupid, so I understand that part. There's still going to be history. But when you talk about independence and people that we can sway, put the facts out there. And yes, we have 23 people running for president right now, but we won't this time next year. We need to make sure that we are giving them the helping hand they need by giving them all the information for them to go out and stump and tell the story of what is going on. This is unacceptable in the greatest democracy in the world. It is unacceptable. All right, that's my rant. I know it was a little longer than usual, and I apologize, but, that one got me, because don't tell me, we about democracy and we about truth and nobody is above the law and mass incarceration is a real thing and entire communities of black folk have been locked up for 2 ounces of weed for 30 years. But this dude he may not have had it. They may not have enough evidence to say that he conspired with the Russians. But once the investigation started, he did all these things to disrupt the investigation. Here's the other part, people. Russia's going to do it again. What steps are we taking to mitigate them from messing with our election in 2019? Because we got municipals in 2020. We cannot be complicit in this behavior, especially as Democrats, because we represent everybody else. So we have got to do better. All right, y'all, let me tell you something. I went down to the Columbus Pride, and first of all, I had an amazing time. One of the things I loved about it was parents and grandparents bringing their young queer kids to the Pride. And not only did they bring them, they stayed and they were decked out in their rainbow socks and their triangle hats and all of that. But Bartholomew County had a booth, and Indivisible had a booth, and so we was hanging out, and I had the chance to meet a candidate who was running for office that I hadn't seen before. I'm like, and they're like, yeah, and this is Grace Kestler. And I'm like, and you're running for office? I leapt with joy. I was excited. Grace, welcome to Turn Left.
Why, thank you, Dana. I'm pretty excited to be here. Thanks for
so
having me.
my rant went a little longer than usual.
It's all right. It's all right. I think it's good.
It's just me and you today. Let's just let's dive into who you are, where you come from. Tell the people the story.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm Grace Kestler, and I'm running for city council at large in Columbus, Indiana. So some people might not know where that is, but we are an architecture mecca.
Yes, you guys are.
So we are lucky to have just a beautiful town down there, about an hour south of Indianapolis. And so, I actually grew up in Columbus as well.
Oh, cool.
Yep, I was born and raised there. A couple years spent traveling with my dad when we were real young, and our family lived in a couple other states. But we came back to Columbus because that's where we're from, and my parents saw the value of a community that was just welcoming and really wanted to be near family, and so grew up there. Went to Columbus North High School. And actually, in high school, I ran for student body treasurer.
Shut up! So you've been doing the political game for a long time.
Oh, I don't know about that. No, it wasn't too complex back then, but I mean, I did run on the slogan of "Don't be a disgrace, vote for Grace."
I love it. I love it. You know what? That might actually work today.
It could, but so I just loved being a part of the school, even if it was just the school government, or just being engaged with the school and somehow feeling like, okay, I can help, I can give back in some manner, whatever that might look like. And so, I was really lucky to have parents who grew up in the area too. And my mom, she was the director of a local food pantry and homeless shelter for 20 years.
Nice.
And so having that perspective has just been amazing. And then my dad worked for Cummins. And so he had that understanding of the business perspective and how a business really can make or break a community.
Absolutely.
And we're lucky in Columbus to have that, along with many other businesses. But Cummins has really kept Columbus afloat when other communities our size have, unfortunately just struggled.
Yeah.
And so it was really fascinating growing up having that mix of sides. And to be honest, also I grew up mixed political sides as well.
Okay, but you got a chance to hear both sides of it and then form your own opinion.
Absolutely, and so I really valued that. And so I did leave Columbus to go to college. I went to DePauw University.
Okay.
And while I was there, I studied communication.
You stayed in the state.
I did stay in the state. I know, I stayed in the state, and I studied communication and anthropology there.
Okay.
And I was also involved in a civic program there. Where I was able to really engage in the community there, again, just because I felt like, hey, if I'm going to be here for a couple years, I feel like I want to get to know the community. I want to try to get back where I can. And so, love that experience. One of my best experiences during the college years was, though, I actually lived in D.C. for 6 months.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, I took a little trip over.
Heaven for me. Yes.
I lived kind of a fake life in the sense that I was still a student. I was owning student housing right on the hill. But I worked for Amnesty International.
Okay.
I really loved that work again because, I wasn't running around getting coffee. I was actually doing real work.
Right.
Fighting for rights and giving people a voice. And I think that just sort of pushed me to want to continue that. So, so I graduated and I actually moved back to Columbus for a little bit. I worked at Cummins for a bit.
Okay.
But I worked in corporate social responsibility.
Oh, nice.
So I kind of got the best of both worlds. I worked for the foundation of the company, so we didn't have to fundraise, so that was kind of nice. But we got to see what amazing work business can do for a community.
Absolutely.
And globally, and in Columbus as well, and how business can really support sustainable impact in nonprofits, and not just throw money around, but really make a partnership.
Absolutely. And I actually had to learn that, the hard way, just like a lot of us liberals, down with corporations, down with. And then I went to graduate school, and corporate responsibility and learning about because I had my master's thesis was on Cisco. Cisco Systems and what they do and their corporate responsibility, and learning about what Starbucks was doing and how. And you go, okay, wait a second. All right, so Dana, stop with your blankets, covering everybody with the same blanket, because there were organizations out there that were being responsible to communities, the environment, their employees, and all the causes that matter to all those different people. And it was a lesson I had to learn. Well, that's what you go to college for, right?
It's for something. I don't know what else I learned, but
something about education.
So it's, so I love that. And then I was also lucky enough to work in HR for a little bit.
Okay.
And I worked on hiring veterans and people with disabilities.
Nice.
And so again, how can a mega business focus on making sure that their company is diverse and making sure that we're hiring everyone in the community that we're present in?
Excellent.
And so all companies got a ways to go with that, but it was pretty great. And so,
well, not just companies. Apparently, political parties do too.
This is true.
We have work to do. So, before anybody trips out, I made sure that I talked to Grace first about how much we can discuss, because I never want to, put anybody in an uncomfortable position. As I've mentioned before, my ex-wife, had mobility issues. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I struggle with is as a Democrat, is I recognize not everybody is represented. Even though we are the big tent party and we want to work hard to represent everybody, but I also recognize we only have one Latina in our state house. We have one Latina in Marion County City County Council, which is the largest municipality. But I don't see a lot of folks with different abilities. And how can we talk to and work for a community if we don't? Most of the time, my experience is being with someone who had, different abilities. Mm-hmm. They are so ignored, not just in politics, but just in life. Mm-hmm. Talk about, as you were working with Cummings, how you were able to bridge that gap about, people with different abilities, and bringing those things in and educating those who just don't get it sometimes.
Absolutely, and especially I think you're right on that point that some people don't get it, and I don't necessarily blame them that they don't get it. They've just never seen a success story, because we're not spotlighting these success stories, and so we're not showing that just because people have different abilities doesn't mean they can't do the job.
Right.
Things can be adapted a little bit, and we can think about things a little more creatively.
Because you have to.
Yeah, you have to, and you have to. That's what I say. I'm a magical problem solver. That's my whole life, figuring out how to. How to get here, how to get there. And that, transfers into other decision making. And so, whether it be Cummins or wherever it is, to be able to really represent, your company or your community or your town, wherever it may be, you have to have all perspectives. And as I say, talking to people of different perspectives, that's one thing. But actually having people with different perspectives in those roles that are decision making roles completely changes the game. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about young people, we better have young people up there.
Absolutely.
We want to talk about people, from different backgrounds, different countries, we better have a variety of people,
right.
Latino, Black, etc. We want to talk about people with disabilities, you better have someone with a disability, at least in some sort of decision-making capacity.
Absolutely.
For things that actually start to change. And so, what I find interesting as well about, disability is we're the largest minority in the country.
Get out.
Yeah, so...
sorry, Latinos. I know y'all thought y'all took over African Americans.
Yeah.
But...
So, and that's because disability crosses
all boundaries. Like
boundaries.
The LGBTQ
exactly.
plus community. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so, you've got... If you're representing people with disabilities, you're therefore representing people with disabilities who are Black, people with disabilities who are LGBT. You're crossing multiple areas of minorities, and therefore making waves a little bit faster sometimes.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. And so, as you were, transitioning and you're seeing things that are going on, talk about what made you decide to run for office, and then talk about, as you said, I am going to run. Thinking about how you were going to run. Literally, let's talk about it.
Definitely. And so I'll backtrack a little bit. So after I worked at Cummins, I decided I want to get my master's, and I just up and moved to Berlin, Germany.
What?
I applied to a program there. It was an intercultural conflict studies program, and I just said,
hey. So you have an amazing worldview on top of that.
Absolutely. And so while I was there, as well, I did a lot of research on refugees with disabilities living in Berlin and how a city can support immigrants, specifically immigrants with special needs, maybe.
Okay.
And so I got that perspective, and I traveled a lot, and I tried to, I met a lot of different people who understood disability differently, and how it's it varies just across culture, just like everything.
Right.
And so I came back to the States. I was there for a couple about 3 years. Came back to the States, and I thought, I want to continue to work on this work that I've been doing. I really want to advocate for things that are close to me, but then advocate for everyone in my community. And
Absolutely.
so
that's how it starts.
Yeah.
You find your issue, and then as you begin to talk to people and connect with people, their issues become your issues.
Absolutely. And so I came back, and I was just looking around at our city, and I was just like, there's not a lot of representation here from a variety of perspectives. I think our city council locally actually does a pretty good job. We've got some great projects going on, but no matter how you slice it, it mostly looks like how it did 20 years ago. And so if you've got a growing community, and we say we're diverse, we say we're inclusive, heck, that means your city's got to look like that too.
Right, exactly.
And so, people often ask me, why are you different, or why is that? And I'm like, I just want to bring a different perspective. I think we need to bring that out. And so when I started to look at that, and I started to think about it and how I wanted to get involved in my community, and a lot of times we get stuck saying this, someone else will do it. Someone else will do it.
I don't have time. There's not enough time. It's only 24 hours a day.
Someone else will do it. And I thought, if I don't do this, no one else is going to do it necessarily. And if no one else sees, no one else doing it, then it just is a cycle.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly. And so I thought, okay, I think I can maybe do this. And so I was chatting with some people, and they said, hey, Grace, we really think you should run for city council. And I was like, all right, well, okay.
And see, Bob and Kate Hyatt, who are the county chairs down there, they're amazing.
They are.
They are so wonderful, and their desire to be community oriented is just unmatched in a lot of places that I've been.
Absolutely.
And I imagine they have been incredibly supportive the whole time too.
They have been amazing, and I didn't really know what to expect going into it as far as party support or community support. And it's just been tremendously humbling just to see people come out and say, hey, you know what, you've got a good perspective on, you've done this, you've traveled, or you worked here. I think you'll make good decisions for us.
Okay.
And it's been amazingly humbling in that sense. And we've got amazing candidates running in our city.
Yes, you do. And I think I'm going to have almost everybody on the show.
I think so. We're lucky to have, there's 7 seats, and every seat's contested.
Excellent.
So we're doing some great things.
Okay, so let's dive into your particular campaign, right?
Yep.
So when everyone starts, they have some issues that they want to focus in on, specific, and then they also have issues that they learn about that shape their platform. I usually ask this of all the candidates. Usually there's 3 things that we highlight in our campaign. Let's talk about the 3 things that you were highlighting as you're running for office.
Definitely. So one of them we've already touched on a little bit. So I want to make sure Columbus is the most welcoming community that we can be.
I love it.
We say, and we are pretty diverse when you look at the numbers and you look at us on paper, but I don't know how inclusive we are.
Okay.
Again, when it comes back to jobs or things outside of these mega corporations, are we really inclusive? Whether it's people with disabilities being engaged in the community and hired, or whether it's just that people feel like they're welcome in our community.
Right.
And so we need to work on that a little bit and making sure that people feel that they have a voice at the table. And I also think this steps into the field of wealth inequality as well.
Sure.
That's a pretty big issue.
Wow.
We've got this range of wealth classes and gap, and especially in Columbus with some big companies, you've got some big money makers.
Right.
But we've still got over 45% of kids on free and reduced lunch.
Wow.
So you've got a gap there. And so do those people feel like they have a voice? So diversity means a number of things.
Absolutely.
And making sure that their voice is out there. So I'm excited about that one and all the directions that can go. And the other thing this kind of plays in there as well is housing. We got a national problem with housing, of course.
Yeah, affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Yeah.
And our big issue in Columbus is definitely affordable housing, but then just the lack of housing options
Oh.
There are just not very many places to choose from.
Okay.
You want to come into our community and you want to buy a house, guess what? There's good luck. It's slim pickings in your price point. And so you're a young professional or you want to buy a house, you got a family, you're like, you know what, I think I'm going to go live somewhere else.
Right.
There's nowhere to live here. So we're not keeping our people in our community when it comes to housing. We've got over a year waiting list for HUD and reduced housing.
Whoa.
So let alone are we not providing a lot of housing. And we're making baby steps there.
Okay.
But we're not definitely providing enough housing for our most vulnerable.
Okay.
And that, relates to our people coming out of rehab.
Right.
They need housing so that they can
not fall back into the same pattern again.
Absolutely. We need...
Because despair and poverty and those are the things that lead to the behaviors. It's not like somebody's just automatically prone to poor behavior. It's also the situation that leads to that.
Absolutely. What do they say? The three most important things in your life are oftentimes in America: your job, where you live, and your relationships.
Yep.
And so, if you don't have a house, you're somewhere to live, then that affects other things.
Absolutely.
And so, what are we doing to support that? We need to be doing more. And so, I'm excited in councils. We've just, we've got some new apartment units. We're doing some really great work to push that. But the affordable aspect.
Okay.
We need to push. So
excellent.
And then finally, public safety. And so I've kind of housed a lot of things under public safety, but our community really struggles with the opioid epidemic.
Okay.
We've been doing some amazing work. We have an alliance for substance abuse, and we're just going to open up a hub probably in August.
Okay, congratulations.
And, the people who are working on that have just been doing amazing work, and it's really a community effort.
Okay.
And so we recognize that, there's a drug problem. We've got, last year, we almost had 400 kids who were in the child protective system. Over 80% of those cases are related to drug issues. So we see this, this cycle, and then, those kids are oftentimes falling into that
same
cycle of drugs. And so this hub that we're getting ready to open, and it's been doing work in the past year as well, but it's meeting people where they are. They can come there and we can direct you to the right services. We can support you through housing, through food, through whatever it may be. And then as well, they've been doing really great work at educating our children. Okay. You've got to start where the problem
really begins. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you want to end this cycle, and so it's really a big timeline, and I'm excited for that work. And but it's, there's still some things to be done. And so we've got great family court recovery systems, inpatient facilities, in jail facilities. And so lots of stuff is happening, but I think there's still work to be done. Is making sure that those individuals who are going through that tough time in their life, do they feel safe?
Right.
Do they feel safe? Do their kids feel safe?
Right.
Do our communities feel safe through the repercussions of drug use? A lot of crime can unfortunately come out of drug use.
Again.
And so do all those, stakeholders feel safe, and are we moving that process forward? So
it sounds like you got a good plan. I love the things that you're working on, because everything that you mentioned is community oriented.
Yep.
Everything that you're talking about is about the citizens of Columbus and how you can improve the lives of the citizens of Columbus. Because the state of Indiana, we're 48th in the nation of quality of life, and everything that you talked about is about improving the quality of life.
Absolutely.
Because we want people to stay. So let's talk about some of your thought processes as a liberal, progressive, left-leaning kind of gal. Public education. Our state is in the race to the bottom to make sure that we don't educate 94% of the students that go to public schools. And you always know this by where they put their money. Talk to me about your feelings on public education and what we need because I know that you can't really influence it from the council seat, but this is just to kind of get an idea of how you think about things.
Absolutely, and I think I sit on a committee through our Bartholomew County School Corporation, Continuous Improvement Committee, and we talk about everything from public safety at schools to this new regulation that just requires 15 extra hours of service for teachers to renew their license when, heck, they're putting in a lot of time to begin with.
And they can't get a raise.
They can't get her. To be honest, to me it seems logical. Pay our people who teach us.
Right.
I don't get it.
Simple.
If we want a smart country, if we want to solve problems, if we want to, we're talking about, oh, but that's what college is for.
Oh, yep.
If we want these things, we have to prioritize our teachers.
Absolutely.
And I think continuing to cut them down to make it not attractive to be a teacher is hurting us.
Absolutely.
It's really hurting us, and so it's frightening. I mean, it's frightening that we're going to end up with a country of, like I said, people who can, our literacy rate will just drop.
Absolutely. I mean, and the question I always pose when I think about it, I know that we want to take care of our teachers, and it isn't anymore. I stopped asking the question of what does this Republican supermajority have against teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I now start asking the question, what does the supermajority Republican Party have against the 1+ million students
Absolutely.
who are attending these public schools? Why don't you want them to have the best that the industry has to offer? Why are you saying to, mothers and fathers, yeah, if you don't make enough money, your kid is going to struggle? Why are we okay with that?
It's crazy, and what's funny? There's the disconnect. So working at Cummins, we're always looking for people who are trained in manufacturing, always looking for engineers, always looking for, and now as technology changes, we're looking for data people. We're looking, they're looking for everything, the jobs that we don't even know exist yet.
Right.
And we think, well, how can we get those people?
Yeah.
Well, it's providing better programming in high school, better
Absolutely.
school work.
Introducing it earlier.
Absolutely, and so there, we see this gap, and then that means, well, we got to do something about educating them. If you continue to minimize the group that's being educated, you're just going to continue to lessen your workforce.
Absolutely.
Really. I am also a firm believer that not everyone needs to go to college.
Okay.
I think that nowadays there are many types of opportunities and many jobs where the typical college career isn't necessarily for everyone.
Right.
And we can be successful. And so we got to change our mindset around
Well,
that a
heck
little
yeah.
bit.
Who doesn't need a plumber? I got a friend right now who has to have her whole air conditioning unit replaced.
Yeah.
If you're not considering HVAC,
Yeah.
if you're not considering being an electrician, I mean, there are.
We've got to value those.
Absolutely.
And provide them the right training
and apprenticeships, and that's what labor unions are for, so they can organize. Because the other side wants to bust up labor unions, but that's also a pipeline to make sure that all of these people have an opportunity to learn under the masters.
Absolutely.
But you're trying to bust all that up. Because
Yeah.
you want to control everything, And oh, by the way, Christian conservatives, Jesus was a carpenter. Anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Jesus was a carpenter. I just want to throw that out there. All right, let's talk about something else that I know has got to be near and dear to you.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare.
Yeah. Topic.
So, I imagine you have, again, a unique perspective on that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, where you think we should go as a state and as a country when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah. So I mentioned I lived in Germany for 3 years.
Germany, so again, world perspective.
And I had their nice healthcare, which isn't perfect, but it's a little bit perfect.
Okay.
And I had their
It isn't perfect, but it's a little bit perfect. I like that.
I had that for a couple years, and I really understood what it meant. I used to joke with people. They'd come to school and they'd be like, oh, I got a cough. I got to go to the doctor. I was like, are you German sick or are you American sick? Because, we got a cough. We don't go to the doctor.
No, you better go get you some tussin.
Yeah.
Ain't that what Chris Rock said? Get you some tussin.
And so then we don't. But they go to the doctor immediately, because
oh my God.
it's in their system to be proactive about this.
Right.
And, they do have a system that pays for it a little bit more. And so, I think we've moved in the right direction towards having, I don't want to call it Obamacare, but, the open marketplace. So, because it's offering the opportunity for everyone to have access to healthcare. It doesn't matter where you work. When I worked at Cummins, I had great healthcare. But now I'm self-employed.
Okay.
I got to go out and get my own healthcare.
Right.
And, it's a great system that if you're really sick, it takes care of you. And even if you got high deductibles, they're still, they're there.
Right.
They're there. And so I'm lucky in the sense that with my disability, I don't have excessive amounts of medical bills. But I know many, many people who do. And it comes back to quality of life. If we're not providing resources, whether it be healthcare or education, for people to live their best life, then we're not doing injustice to our people.
Oh, absolutely not.
We're all we want to do is live. These people fighting for healthcare, they're like, I just want to live. I just want to work.
Exactly. And I don't have a problem with the hybrid option. I like the idea that there's Medicare, Medicaid for all, but if you prefer, your employer provided. Or the employer says, you know what, we're going to be super greedy again, and we're not going to. You have that option. I like the hybrid system. I believe, to me, that's real choice.
Absolutely. Yep. I think it's good that we can choose.
Yeah.
I just think it's absolutely important that there's something out there. This idea that they want to take away, the marketplace, or take away Obamacare, that's insane.
Exactly. Now, Indiana did step up this year, and they protected pre-existing. Yeah, that. I was actually shocked, really. But they, the supermajority did pat them on the back. Every now and then, they'll come up with a good idea. And they'll stick with it. But that's because probably a lot of them are old white men with pre-existing conditions who need health care.
This could be true. So it's,
It's like, don't co-sign my silliness. Don't co-sign it.
There's exciting possibilities for healthcare, but I don't think we should go step back from where we are now. We've been making baby steps, and we're allowing people to tap into some options that they didn't have before. Okay. But we can't take away anything.
Absolutely.
We've got to continue to fight for that, and I'm glad Indiana's doing that.
That's one thing we got going right. Okay, gerrymandering. I haven't talked about gerrymandering in a while. Gerrymandering.
Oh gosh, I'm not very good at this topic.
Okay. But I love your honesty.
You know what I said when I came in here? I was like, the hardest part about this whole thing has been learning all the information. What do you prioritize? What do you...
Because there's so much that has to get done. I mean, I was saying that to you when I lost my race. After I ran on one thing and discovered so many other things, it's like, you can't stop. There's too much that has to be done. And obviously, the people that are in our state house are not interested in fixing any of that stuff, especially the gerrymander.
They aren't. And, I think it's... Sometimes it makes me wonder, it's like, what are they doing over there?
I ask that question all the time. I even looked at Brian Bosman one day. He's a tall fella. And I'm like, what are you doing? But you asked that question. What are they thinking?
It's funny because you can go down the street and one side is one district and the other side is another district. And you're like, I wonder why that. Why they draw that line then? And this is kind of related to gerrymandering, but not specifically. Running for city council, I get a lot of complaints and a lot of thoughts from the people who live in the county.
Oh.
And they say, why were the lines drawn where they were in the city? Why were they? And I was like, well, things are annexed and things are, it's always changing. Why not? I work in the city. I have a business in the city. But I can't vote in the city. I was like, it's like, some of these lines were, I'm sure there was a lot of interesting thought processes going on in every city. Why is this the city?
It's about control.
And why is this the county? And so I absolutely think it's about control. And I think I wish there was a way to, a better way around.
Yeah. So in 2016, 2016, I think it is, Jim Merritt and his boys decided to pass SB 309, which de-incentivized renewable energy. Indiana is the only state in the union to go backwards in environmental protections. Let's talk about, and Indiana is ranked high, or ranked at the bottom in the nation when it comes to all environmental issues. We are essentially the trash can of America, our legislators have actually written into law to help make us be the trash can of America. Talk to me about your feelings about the environment, and if you want to go into global warming, that's fine, but specifically here in Indiana, like in Evansville, the nation has 22 super polluters, and I share the same information all the time, but because I don't think people really understand like what that means. There's 50 states, but there's only 22 super polluters, but 4 of those super polluters are in Indiana, and they're all within a 30-mile radius of Evansville, which is one of is our third largest city.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about, legislators who are okay with, rolling back those environmental protections and what we need to do, or some ideas you may have about moving us forward again. That's heavy, I know.
It's a hot topic. So, interestingly enough, I just went to a talk last night that was about energy storage.
Oh.
And it was related to Cummins or other companies that once made diesel engines,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're having to adjust to make natural gas production systems, to make batteries, to do all these things so that they can keep up with the times. And so,
you think that's market driven, or and I'm gonna let you. It sparked a question.
No.
Is it market driven, or you think it's actually being environmentally conscious?
I think it's both.
Both. Okay.
I think it's both. So their model that they work off right now, and many other companies do right now, outside of Indiana.
Outside of Indiana, of course. That's how it
where
goes.
they start to really utilize and tap into this renewable resources.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with renewable resources is they go up and down. The wind goes up and down. Things vary.
Right.
So right now, our grids aren't quite qualified to completely work off of renewable resources. So these companies come in and they provide, natural gas generators or battery-powered generators to fill the gap of the renewable resource.
Okay.
So when the renewable resources, that grid system starts to lower down because of wind or usage, and there's a gap there, then these companies come in and they say, oh, we'll plug you in so your grid runs and your TV doesn't go out.
Right.
So it's sort of a mix of trying to solve the problem and until we can fully. Yeah.
Huh, I like that. Educate me, girl. I love it. On Turn Left, you'll learn any and everything. Keep watching every week. Indiana's Own Dana Black Turn Left. Hey, you never know when I'm bringing geniuses on the show.
I don't know, but I just heard this. I'm lucky. And so the question was posed, well, heck, why aren't we using batteries all the time? California's using batteries.
Mm-hmm.
The state said, we're buying batteries for everything. Batteries are expensive.
Batteries are very expensive.
We're using, natural gas to run these generators that are still putting pollutions out. Less pollution than diesel. More cost is lower than diesel, and but it's still closing the gap and trying to solve the problem while we can. So I think a lot of this comes down. You can talk about recycling, you can talk about all these little things, but how are we? Oh gosh, I'm gonna get my words mixed up. But how are we thinking about it as far as trying to be the most conscious and conservative with our energy?
Okay.
So whether, we got all these mega polluters, how are they as an internal factory maybe reusing that pollution that could be turned back into energy? Something like that.
Right.
Or at this, at the local level, people often say, oh, what can we do to, better implement energy efficiency things? I think it comes down to simple things. We're talking about affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
How do we encourage our landlords and new builders to build energy efficient properties?
There you go. There you go. We got energy efficient appliances now. They're much more energy efficient than they were before.
You get, energy efficient windows. You get energy efficient. That's a hard word.
Yeah.
Insulation. These types of things. You are bringing the cost down of energy. You're bringing the cost down of utilities. So what? That makes that place a little bit easier to afford.
Yes.
Utilities aren't $400. It's a little bit easier for that landlord to say, oh, I'm going to lower the price a bit.
And that can make it more affordable for a family, and it may hit their price point. And
Absolutely.
I like it.
Absolutely. And maybe I'm a little crazy about this. We talk about tax abatements all the time.
You got to be a little crazy sometimes.
But I don't know who's listening.
You gotta be a little. If you want to, honestly, if you want to be, the Nike commercial is the best one.
Absolutely.
You gotta be. If you want to move forward and do things that people don't think you can do, you gotta be a little crazy. People thought I was absolutely out my rabbit ass mind when I said I was gonna run against Brian Bossman. But what? What I got to lose?
Yeah.
Let's be a little crazy.
That's the thing. And I'm like,
Prince said it. Let's go crazy.
It might cost us a little more up front.
Right.
But in the long run, we're helping the environment. We're helping people. We're saving money. We're these little things that sometimes it's hard to think in the big picture, but it does help in the big picture. And
Absolutely.
so, things about even, and this is what I'm learning as well, I'm learning, what's it mean to get a tax abatement in our community?
Mm-hmm.
And are we asking those hard questions? Okay, you want to build here in our community? You want a tax abatement? What kind of energy efficiency building are you building?
Excellent.
What kind of people are you hiring? Are you bringing in diverse people? Are you doing, you want to build a new apartment complex, you know, it goes on and on.
It goes on.
There are little ways that the city officials can affect this in the bigger picture, wherever it may be. So.
Girl, you got me excited. I'm excited for you. One last topic, and the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because we talked about it a little bit when we were talking about the environment, and that's our infrastructure. You mentioned that, you know, our grid right now really can't accommodate a lot of renewable energies, but that's because we haven't actually addressed our infrastructure, and unfortunately in our psyche, just like this with this Mueller report, all people are thinking about is obstruction, but they're not thinking about the fact that Russians were tapping into our voting system, right? People aren't focused there. People think about roads and bridges when they think about infrastructure, but they don't think about our grid and our internet and all of that. Talk to me about, you know, because they're not investing money. How do we get our lawmakers and citizens to understand the importance of maintaining and doing the necessary upgrades of our waterways? I mean, how many lead pipes do we have? We have pipes that are wood. We have.
That seems counterproductive.
You think I'm like, we had a sinkhole in Indianapolis because of wood pipes that have been down there for 100 years. Talk to me about your ideas on infrastructure.
I mean, yeah, you know, it comes down to roads and it comes down to these things, and Columbus has got a good example. So we, our sewage system, our underwater tunnels, what's the official name? We don't really have any idea what's happening down there. As far as we have very minimal equipment that can go into these tunnels and check out via camera what's happening. Is there a hole there? Is this going to fall in? Is this really old? Is this made of lead? We just don't have that.
Wow.
And so one of our priorities that a couple of our city council members are working on is adding a little bit of a tax on our water bill. Like, we're talking like 5 cents a month.
Right. I mean, you got to pay for some of these things.
You do. But so that we can evaluate the under system, so that we don't have sinkholes.
Right.
So that our water is clean in the long run, so that we don't have other issues down the long run. And it's unfortunate. I wish you could build things and they would just stay perfect forever.
Forever. It don't happen.
It would be
nice. Well, even the Romans got ruins. They still standing, but, you know, the Leaning Tower of Pisa didn't stay straight. I mean,
absolutely. And you made a good point about it is about the roads. You know, that people complain all day about potholes. It's about things like this. You know, it's keeping these things up so people feel like they can be proud of their city. But it's also about these technological types of things. It's about security. It's about making sure people in our community feel safe when it comes to technological security. You know, whatever that means in our community. And so we got to start to think outside the box a little bit. It's not just brick and mortar, but it's you know, making sure that people feel safe through those different elements. As we start to change and the world gets smarter, you know, we got to get smarter.
I tell you what, I really am impressed with, and I shouldn't say, I hate when people tell me, well, Dana, you're articulate. You know, so I don't want to sound condescending, but I love the way your mind thinks, all right? I love the way your mind thinks because it is so broad. And like you said, I don't know everything. No one knows everything. But it seems like you're a scientist, right? You know, even though you went for one thing, but working at Cummins turned you into a scientist, and it turned you into someone who looks at things from a different perspectives. Your life experiences, and I am really glad that you were running for office. I think, you know, you are the kind of person, you're running for an at-large seat, which means you have Republicans going against you, and we need to make sure that we help you. Tell me real quick, because we started a little late, so I get to run a little long.
Hopefully we're entertaining you.
I hope, right? You know, I always tell people how they can volunteer. I say you can knock doors and you can make phone calls and things like that. Talk about what your experiences are. I mean, come on. Knocking doors, it can't be very easy for you, right?
It is not. I sometimes just throw a rock at the door. I hope I don't break. No, I don't know.
I know.
But
hey, invention was the mother of necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. There you go.
Exactly. So, funny enough, I sometimes get more people out of their door because I'll have a friend go knock on the door and they're like, my friend wants to talk to you. And they're like, oh, look at that cute little girl. And I'm like,
okay, go with the cute.
Slightly condescending, but
use that cute girl.
I'll take you outside your house.
I've never been accused of
being
being
probably think, I don't know, but it's you know, so it's been interesting, and it's been interesting to talk with people, and you know, right now the biggest thing I say, you know, whether it's knocking on doors or what, the biggest volunteer thing for me, I think, and a lot of other smaller candidates, tell your friends.
Right.
Don't just say, oh, I'm going to vote for you. Oh, by the way, and vote.
Right. Go. Yes.
Actually, vote.
Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you take a friend.
Tell your friends. If you've got, you know, you got friends in Columbus or you live in Columbus, hey, have a little mixer. I'd love to meet your friends.
Excellent.
I'd love to, because having that personal interaction like that is great for me. And just like everything in our lives, if you say, hey, you know what, I think this candidate's really good because X, Y, Z, and I trust you, you know what, I'll probably vote for her too.
Absolutely.
Especially if I don't know who I'm going to vote for, and that's unfortunately
what happens, especially in these municipal races.
Absolutely.
We saw that 2018, the turnout was low. The primary was ridiculous. So these municipal races are so important. We need people to wake up and focus on these races.
Absolutely.
So do you have any fundraisers coming up? Where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me at the county fair.
Hey, that's what's up.
I'll be out there probably almost every day in July. I think it's from July 5th to 12th-ish.
Okay. Go meet her.
Yeah,
Go meet her.
come meet me. We have some stuff more towards the fall, just because close to the election, so that we can remind people a little bit. We are starting to do more door-to-door.
Okay.
You can find me on either Instagram and Facebook. We are very active on both of those.
What is your handle?
At Elect Grace Kestler.
Elect Grace Kestler.
Make it easy. electgracekestler@gmail.com. Elect Grace Kestler is my Facebook. Elect Grace Kestler is my Instagram. And so, you know, and also tell me what's important to you. If there's something that you've got a passion about, I probably don't know it just because there's a lot of people.
Right.
So,
right.
Let me know what's important.
You can't know every. Yeah, you can't know every issue.
Let me know what's important to you.
And you need to raise money. So is there a way to donate?
We do need to raise money. So yeah, we have had great support in our community, but there's still a lot to be done. We got to reach those voters. That's why I say the hardest part is reaching the people you don't know.
Right.
Getting outside your warm circle. Getting outside there. And so you can donate as well at electgracekestler.com.
Okay.
You can find it there. There's all kinds of information. Might see some fun photos, and yeah, you can donate, and you can also sign up to volunteer there. Or
Absolutely.
just join our newsletter. We don't spam anyone, but we like
to
keep
go.
people up to date.
Democrats, this is what we talking about when we talk about diversity, inclusion, Big Tent. And she's brilliant among all the other things. Forget anything else you see, heard. She has great ideas on how we solve some problems. Whether, you know, we don't know if they'll work or not, but you know what? She's got ideas. Versus, well, this is how we always did things.
Oh, I think differently.
Y'all, find Grace Kestler. Find a way to support her. These are the Democrats that we want to cultivate. She sits on the council for a couple of years. Next thing you know, she's challenging for a House rep or a state Senate seat.
Next
thing you know, but the goal is to build our bench, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And we need this kind of representation. So y'all, find a way to help this candidate, because we need her to be in Columbus, working as hard as she can on all the things she talked about: affordable housing, improving the quality of life. And she's got great ideas on things larger than Columbus. She has a great worldview. You guys, look her up, find her, help her. She needs volunteers. Listen, we got to flip seats wherever we can and hold on to whatever seats we can. And this is a candidate we ought to get to know. And I believe you have an amazing, bright future in politics.
Thank you, Dana.
If you choose to continue on, I think you, man.
Well, thank you.
I've had some amazing guests on the show, and I said it. She's an amazing guest. So thank you so much, y'all. I hope y'all learned something today. I did. I learned some things today. You know, I apologize for being just a few minutes late. You know me, sometimes I have some technical difficulties. Make sure you guys, if you got some time, head on down to Spencer this Saturday. It's free. My girl Thomasina Marcelli will be down there. I'll holler at you, girl. And chip in and be a part of the larger global community and who we are in 92 counties. Thank you so much for driving up from Columbus. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all, this has been Indiana's Own Dana Black. Turn left. Oh, by the way, don't forget, I have a donate button. If you like the content that I'm bringing you, please consider donating to Indiana's Own Dana Black or Turn Left, so that we can continue to bring this content to you. Just $1, $50, I don't care. You know, whatever you want to donate. If you feel it in your heart, if you like what we bring it to you, consider being a sponsor. I'm putting my sponsor packages together now, so I'll be able to explain those to you. And we're gonna do everything on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? So, and as we take these copies, I upload them, I splash them, and I can put them on YouTube, and you can be a sponsor, and your information can be dumped right in there, no matter what your business is. There's an opportunity for us all to grow. And again, it's about spreading this information about who we are as Democrats in 92 counties.
Woo.
All right, y'all. Next week is the first week of Pride Week. I might wear a rainbow tie. You never know. Indiana's on Dana Black. Thank you, Grace, for coming on. I'll take Chris and Kestler at the same time.
A lot of people comment.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We will check y'all out next week. Please enjoy your holiday weekend. Please be safe. I'm sorry that I don't get any more vacation time for a while. I really love South Beach. Yes, I was there. All right, y'all. That's what it'll be.